Okay, we're going to move on to the next step in the Indicator 8 Family Engagement Survey Manager application. And that next step is called the Letter Manager. So you'll find the Letter Manager under Parent Outreach, item number 2. So the Letter Manager page allows districts to customize the letter that is sent to each parent explaining the family engagement survey. We're going to use the import button to access DPI template letters in our letter manager. And then once the letters appear in the table below, you can use the edit button to open the letter, change the letter's name, and edit some of the text in the letter. It's really recommended that we customize our letters by adding the district header or logo if you have one or if you choose to do so. We also recommend changing the subject heading or the name of the survey by adding your LEA's name. And we also recommend listing the director's name as the person sending the letter to families or some other designee. It's important to know that letters are versioned. So when a letter is updated, a new version of that letter is created. And then any contacts created or connected to a letter in the send letters, which is our next step, will be associated with the version available when that connection was created. So one thing to remember here is as we send out letters and as we do updates, you always have to reconnect the letter and the contact for the changes to appear. So one special note is we will take a look at the letter and you'll notice that there are some data parameters in the letter in which there are brackets around words. And that is what the application needs and requires in order to feed data into the letter, such as the parent's unique password, the parent's first and last name, etc., in order for them to take the survey. All right, so let's move on below. And one thing I'm going to have you note, I'm going to note right here, is I have downloaded the surveys already. So, and once a survey has been downloaded, you cannot delete it. So it's here. But we're going to pretend we're going to import some new letters. And so we're going to click on that red import button. A text box will show up saying select OK to import the default letters for this year. So we're going to say OK. And then normally this light green bar will say 2 letters added. We always add a Spanish version and an English version of the survey. And then they'll appear down below. I'm going to modify the Spanish version. So right now we have the revision. It's been revised. The revision number is number 2. It's in Spanish. It's the initial letter. And you'll see the school district name. And we'll go to the blue button and edit this. So when this letter was first downloaded, it just said Encuesta de Participation, well, the family engagement survey in Spanish. So as I recommended, adding the school district name to the top will help families identify that this is just not a family engagement survey, but it's coming from the school district. Other things in here to note, the inherited font. So this is the font that comes up automatically. You have the ability to change the font if you want. So if I wanted to, I could do so. So I'm going to highlight. You always have to highlight the font in order to change it. So if I wanted to change it, I could pick a different one and it would change it to a different style. So you can see that. I'm going to go back to inherited. All right. You can also change the size of the font. Typically, the inherited font is typically the 12. I like, if we go back to that, you'll see it's that size. I prefer the 14. I like how it's spaced out, how it looks. And then you'll notice in here the brackets. I mentioned the brackets earlier. So there are brackets for the parent information, the password, the student first and last name, that they can call Wisconsin Statewide Parent Educator Initiative or Wisconsin Facets for contact or for help, and that they can request a paper copy. So now you see it's now version 3 of the Spanish and version 4. So I'm going to take you back into the English version just so you can see the brackets again. To the parent of student first and last name, they're the brackets, so you cannot change any of that information. Parents have 3 ways to complete the survey: by computer, in which their unique username and password will be included in this letter. They can call WISPE or Wisconsin Facets, and there's contact information there. And then they can request a paper survey. If you do send a hard copy paper survey to a parent, please remember that school districts are required to provide the parent an envelope with this address, the Department of Public Instruction's address, as well as a stamp so that the parent can send that back. And then finally, at the bottom of letters, I encourage school districts to personalize this. So I added another sentence at the bottom here. I encourage you to complete the survey and share with us what your experience has been. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And then I signed it Sam Smith, Special Ed Director, with a phone number. You can do whatever you'd like, but I just know from the last couple of years of assisting school districts across the state with the survey that the customizing and personalizing it does help to get a better response rate. So after you've done all your changes, update, and that takes care of that. Now this version didn't change at all because I did not update anything. I didn't change anything in the original. I just merely showed you what was out there. You can also add a header to this, and it's relatively simple. You upload either a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG file. Those are the only ones that are accepted. You select the file, you upload, and that's it. So pretty straightforward. What's really nice about this is there is the ability to remove it. If for some reason, once you print it out and it looks funny, you can delete the header or logo as well. So with that, that concludes the letter manager.